Well, hello! Today we're going to be learning about how to make our very own Snapchat filter. Now, it's not as hard as you might think, but we will be using some AI that can be built into P5 to detect where our different body parts are, and then we can overlay shapes or images on top of it and have some fun with that. So let's get into it. Let's make it happen. So, the first thing you got to learn about is this ML5. ML5 stands for Machine Learning for P5, right? It's a great little project that was built on top of some other AI technology, but it integrates perfectly with P5. Now, there's all different kinds of detections this AI does. ML5, Machine Learning 5, can do body pose detection. It can do hand pose detection. Like it can actually detect your. Let's see if I can get this working. If it can detect where my hands are. Let's see, is it doing it? Yeah, I can just detect like the different parts of my hand. That's kind of fun. There's something called face mesh. This is the exact technology that Snapchat uses, where it like really will create a mesh of my face, and you could overlay an image on top of it. I think it has like 406 different points on my face, my lips, my nose. And you can kind of just stretch an image on top of that, and that's how Snapchat does their thing. We're going to be using something called Body Pose. Body Pose just detects different points on your face and body. So if you notice here, it's detecting where my nose is, my ears, my eyes, and it can actually do my shoulders, my wrists. If you stood up, you could see it does my ankles and hips and all that. But we'll really just be focusing on maybe detecting our nose and one other thing and overlaying on that. So what you would do to get this started, there's a quick start guide, getting started, is really all you have to do is import this model right here. Let's see, where is it? It's this guy. So this will get pulled into a P5 sketch. So once you pull into P5, you would have this AI capabilities. Now I've already done it. If you look here, it's right here. I did it ahead of time. But I do kind of want you to see, just for a second, what is this? What is at this link? What's being imported? So if you look over here, it's all this. It's crazy, right? Look at all this stuff. This is all the technology that goes into the AI that can make all of these different functionalities come true. It's a lot of code. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. Look how much I'm scrolling and I haven't even gone. That make it possible to detect these different body parts and such. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to, just to get it started. So it's already there. I'll put that back. You don't have to do any of that. I've imported it for you. Now, there's going to be a lot of code in your starter code today, and I want you to kind of see what it is. So let's see here. If you look over here, these two lines of code are really just saying, hey, where it says create capture, you can actually get a video feed from your computer using P5 that's built in. And then I'm showing that video on the screen here. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take that video and we're going to send it to ML5's PoseNet. And what it'll do is process each image. So this webcam is continuous, right? It's going to keep sending these images over and over. And what will get spit out is all of these coordinates about where all these things are. And it'll keep doing it over and over again. There's a lot of computation going on here. And then what we could do is take what it spits out and use it to overlay. So let's see what it spits out. Now, just to show you, if you go to share over here, what we could do is open something called the console. And I'm console logging what's actually getting spit out here by ML5. And here's it right here. Oh, let's pause it. See where it says pose right here? This is it right here. It's the pose. Now, if you look over here, you have all of these different body parts. And I just kind of want to go through it with you. So right here it says nose, right? What it's saying is the X and the Y coordinate of my nose on this canvas is at 370 X and 252 Y, which if you look at it, if this is 400 by 400, right? This is the 200 mark, a little bit 100 more. This is like the 300 mark, right? So this is about at 300, right? About 250. 200 is the middle, 250, my nose is a little bit lower, so that makes sense, right? And then there's this other thing called the confidence. It's how confident it is that that's where my nose is. And it is 99% confident that's where my nose is. And it's correct. That's about where my nose is. Now, if you look here where it says right wrist, it says, I think it's at 166, 496. But if you look here, its confidence is 0.004, which is meaning it has a 0.4% confidence that that's where my right wrist is, which makes sense because it cannot see my wrist. It's not up there. If I were to hold up my wrist, it would have a much higher confidence. Same thing for like ankle, right? The confidence is very low because it can't see my ankle, but my ear, 96% that's where my ear is at these locations. So it's just using the X and Y. So what we're going to use today is really the nose. We're going to have fun with that. We could use the rest of them. You are totally welcome to use them, but I'm just going to use the nose today to do something. So if you come over here, let me show you how to do it. So if you look over here where it says nose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this. Let nose, feel free to go along with me, equals poses 0. Poses 0 is what the ML5 gave back to me after it saw my image, like the image. It's like, here's where the points are. And then I'm going to say specifically, thank you for all of that. Remember, it gave back all of these different body parts. I'm going to say, I actually just want the nose. So I'm going to go dot pose dot nose dot pose dot nose dot pose dot nose. And if I console.log this, okay, just so you guys can see it, I want you to see real quick. What it's pushing out here is the X and Y of the nose only. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can move this up a little. Yes, so you can see it's as I move my nose around, you see how the numbers change? If I move my nose all over here, it should be closer to, see, it's closer to 0, going closer to 0, the X coordinate, and so on and so forth. So right now it's just getting the X and Y of my nose right there. Okay, so now that I got my nose, now we can have some fun. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to make an ellipse, and let's put it at nose.x, nose.y, and I'll make it 50. And I got a nose! And look, it follows me around. Pretty cool. And watch this. I can make it red, so I'll just do fill. I'll do 255.00 because that's red. Let's take the stroke weight and set it down to 0, so there's no line there. And look, I got a clown nose. Isn't that cool? It's so cool. And it follows me around. Now let's have a little bit more fun. What if I wanted to add a new hat to my head? Before I was wearing this one, let's put like an image of a hat on. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find an image of a hat. Okay, let's get a hat image. Hat image. Okay, I'm going to go to images. Let's get a cool hat. Where's a cool hat? Ooh, that's a good top hat. I'm going to save this top hat. Okay, and then I'm going to do remove.bg because you don't want to do all, you don't want that background part there. So it's going to remove the background. Geez, I have to prove that I'm a human? Need keyboards here? Commonly used with that item. Wow, they're getting more complex here. Jeez, not owl. A lot of owls there. All right, I'm a human. Removes the background. Let's download it. Great. Call it hat. Let's go back to our thing right here. I'm done with you. Let's go over here, and I'm going to go upload file, and let's go get that hat over here. All right, now I got to preload it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say let hat function preload. Notice how I'm doing it at the top. Hat is equal to load image. You guys have done this before. Hat.png. All right, and now check this out. So hat's not going to show up yet. But I'm going to put the hat on my nose. And so image, hat. Remember the first two arguments are the location. So I'm going to say nose.x, nose.y. And then let's make it, I don't know, 200 by 200. That's the width and the height. And you'll see there's a hat on my nose. Now that doesn't make sense. I don't want it on my nose. So how would I put it on top of my head? Well, pretty simple. What I could do is just move things around. So like you see where the y is? What if I just move the y, like I subtract like, I don't know, 300 from the y. Let's try it out. I'll do 250. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. If I move hack a little, it kind of works, right? And then what if I just move the x over by 100? It's actually the midpoint between 200. And now I have a hat, a tip of the hat to you. So that's it today. So what you're going to do is you're going to make your own Snapchat filter. Just use some images, add a necklace, maybe add some earrings, add whatever you want to make a really cool Snapchat filter. Okay, guys, that's it. AI, the best. It's the best.